Okay, last time I was getting an audio error. So, got nothing else open. Um, guess I should record, make sure. But I don't know, I think it was coming from another thing. I only have one audio input being captured, so I'm gonna try and invest in a microphone if I'm gonna continue to do this. Um, anyway, I'm testing out the venture capital live stream. Anyone would like to try this out, I have put my Twitch link in the description. Um, so yeah, I will try to let that get started.
Hi, test user. I'm Alex. It's a practical idea, especially for densely populated cities. Hello, everyone. I'm Alex, and welcome to our AI Venture Capitalist panel stream. I'm looking forward to reviewing your startup pitches today. Submit your pitch via donation or channel points redemption, and our panel will provide feedback. Let's get started.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: why VCs are increasingly interested in healthcare and biotech. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Morgan. The shift towards healthcare and biotech is largely driven by the immense potential for technological disruption and substantial returns. Advances in AI, genomics, and personalized medicine are transforming what's possible, opening up new investment frontiers. Plus, the societal impact is profound. Innovations here can significantly enhance quality of life and longevity, aligning financial success with positive societal impact, which is incredibly appealing. Alex, you've hit on key drivers, but there's a cautionary note to add. While the potential for disruption and societal benefit in healthcare and biotech is high, these fields also carry significant risks due to regulatory hurdles and long development cycles. It's crucial for investors to balance the allure of high returns with the reality of potential delays and increased scrutiny, especially in such a sensitive area as healthcare.
Alex and Riley, you've both outlined the compelling reasons for our growing focus on healthcare and biotech. The blend of high impact potential and substantial financial returns presents a unique opportunity. However, Riley's reminder about the inherent risks and regulatory complexities is crucial. It underscores the importance of thorough due diligence and a robust understanding of the sector to navigate these challenges effectively. This balance will be key to our success in these fields.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: why most SaaS startups fail in their first 2 years. What are your thoughts on this?
Philip, that's a crucial discussion. Many SaaS startups struggle primarily because they fail to differentiate their product in a crowded market. Without a unique value proposition, it's tough to gain and retain customers, especially when larger players can quickly absorb innovative features. Additionally, inadequate attention to customer acquisition costs and lifetime value can lead to unsustainable growth models. It's essential for these startups to not only innovate, but also excel in execution and customer retention strategies. Philip, Alex, you both make excellent points about differentiation and the economics of customer acquisition and retention. I'd add that many SaaS startups falter because they underestimate the importance of a product led growth strategy. They focus too much on acquiring customers through traditional sales and marketing efforts without ensuring the product itself drives user adoption and expansion. A compelling, self propelling product experience is critical to survival and scaling in the SaaS space.
Absolutely. Alex and Riley, you've both highlighted key pitfalls around differentiation and growth strategies. It's clear that SaaS startups must balance innovation with robust, scalable business models that emphasize product excellence and smart customer economics. Failing in either domain can be detrimental, especially in such a competitive and dynamic industry.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the biggest opportunities in climate tech right now. What are your thoughts on this?
Morgan, while many are flocking towards renewable energy and carbon capture technologies, I see a significant, underexplored opportunity in climate adaptation technologies, particularly in infrastructure resilience and agricultural adjustments. These areas are crucial as they address the immediate impacts of climate change on daily life and food security. Investing in technologies that enhance the adaptability of existing systems could offer not just environmental benefits, but also substantial economic returns as global climate challenges intensify.
Riley, you've pinpointed a crucial gap in the current market focus. Adapting existing infrastructures and agricultural systems to be resilient against climate shifts is not just a necessity, it's a smart investment. These sectors offer immediate impact potential and long-term financial sustainability, making them standout opportunities in the climate tech landscape. Let's discuss an interesting business topic: why VCs are increasingly interested in healthcare and biotech. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Morgan. The surge in VC interest towards healthcare and biotech primarily stems from the technological advancements that promise substantial returns on investment. Innovations in genomics, personalized medicine, and AI in diagnostics are transforming what's possible in health outcomes, making this sector not only lucrative, but also critical for future societal benefits. Plus, the COVID-19 pandemic has undoubtedly accelerated this shift, highlighting the importance and potential resilience of the healthcare sector.
Alex, you've hit on key points there. The convergence of big data with healthcare through AI and machine learning is indeed creating unprecedented investment opportunities, particularly in areas like drug discovery and disease prediction. Additionally, regulatory changes and increased healthcare spending globally are making this market even more attractive. However, it's crucial for us as VCs to scrutinize the scalability and regulatory hurdles these startups might face, ensuring we're investing in ventures that not only promise innovation, but also have a clear path to market.
Alex and Philip, you've both outlined the compelling reasons behind our growing interest in healthcare and biotech. As we move forward, it's essential that we continue to balance our enthusiasm for innovation with a rigorous evaluation of each venture's business model, market readiness, and regulatory compliance. This sector offers tremendous potential, but only well-rounded investments will yield the sustainable returns we're aiming for. Let's discuss an interesting business topic: how the funding environment has changed in the last year. What are your thoughts on this?
The funding environment has indeed shifted dramatically over the past year, primarily due to economic uncertainty and inflation concerns. Investors are becoming more selective, focusing heavily on startups with clear paths to profitability rather than just growth potential. It's crucial for companies seeking investment to adapt by tightening their business models and demonstrating strong unit economics.
Absolutely, Philip. The focus on sustainability over hypergrowth is more pronounced now. However, in my experience, there's still a strong appetite for visionary founders who can demonstrate how their platforms create compelling network effects. These are seen as defensible investments in an uncertain market because they can potentially lead to monopolistic advantages once they reach scale.
Both Philip and Alex have highlighted key trends in the current investment landscape, emphasizing the necessity for startups to present not only growth, but also robust pathways to profitability and sustainable business models. As we move forward, it will be crucial for entrepreneurs to balance these demands with innovative offerings that can carve out significant market positions, ensuring they remain attractive in this more discerning funding environment.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the role of traction metrics in early stage fundraising. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Riley. Traction metrics are crucial as they provide concrete evidence of market demand and product viability, which are essential for investors. They're not just about revenue. Early engagement metrics, user growth rates, and the stickiness of the product are also vital indicators. For early-stage startups, robust traction metrics can significantly de-risk an investment, making them particularly persuasive during fundraising conversations.
Absolutely, Morgan. You've hit the nail on the head. However, it's important to differentiate between vanity metrics and actionable metrics. Many early-stage startups present high user growth rates, but without context, such as user retention or conversion rates. These numbers can be misleading. As investors, we need to focus on metrics that directly correlate to long-term business viability and scalability. This approach ensures we're not just captivated by impressive numbers, but are investing in genuinely promising ventures.
Philip and Morgan, you both make compelling points. While traction metrics are indeed pivotal for evaluating early stage startups, discerning between what metrics offer genuine insight versus superficial allure is key. Our challenge remains to prioritize those metrics that most accurately forecast the future success and scalability of a business. This discernment is what will guide our investment decisions effectively. Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the growing importance of AI in due diligence. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Alex. AI is increasingly crucial in streamlining the due diligence process, particularly in analyzing vast amounts of data quickly and identifying risk patterns that might be missed by human analysis. However, while AI can enhance efficiency, it's vital to maintain a balance and ensure that human judgment plays a key role in interpreting AI findings, especially in complex scenarios where contextual understanding is crucial. This blend of technology and human expertise could significantly improve accuracy and speed in our investment decisions.
Certainly, Morgan and Alex, the integration of AI and due diligence is transforming how we operate. My primary caution lies in over reliance on AI tools. While they excel at processing data, they lack the nuance that experienced investors bring to interpreting subtleties in company culture, leadership dynamics, and market shifts. It's critical we use AI as a tool to augment our capabilities, not replace them. This ensures we maintain a strategic edge that purely data driven approaches might miss. Absolutely. Both points are well taken. Integrating AI into our due diligence processes offers undeniable efficiencies and analytical depth. However, as we navigate this integration, it's crucial that we continue to value and integrate the irreplaceable human insight that captures the nuances AI might overlook. This balance will be key in maintaining the quality and foresight in our investment decisions.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the rise of alternative funding models like revenue-based financing. What are your thoughts on this?
I think the appeal of revenue based financing is clear, especially for businesses that may not fit the traditional venture capital mold. It's more inclusive, allowing companies with solid revenue streams, but perhaps less flashy tech or exponential growth trajectories, to access capital. However, I'm cautious about its long term sustainability and the potential for misaligned incentives between investors and business owners, especially if the repayment caps aren't structured carefully. Morgan Riley. I agree that revenue based financing broadens the capital access spectrum, which is essential in a diverse entrepreneurial ecosystem. However, my primary concern revolves around scalability. Traditional equity investments in companies with strong network effects offer growth potential that revenue based models generally can't match. For startups aiming for rapid scale and market dominance, equity funding still seems to be the more suitable route.
Revenue-based financing certainly offers a compelling alternative for companies with steady revenues, but potentially slower growth trajectories, expanding the diversity in funding mechanisms. However, the concerns about scalability and alignment of long-term interests between investors and founders are valid and require careful structuring and consideration. Ultimately, the choice of financing model should align closely with the company's growth strategy and financial health to ensure sustainable success.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: how remote work has changed startup formation and investment. What are your thoughts on this?
Remote work has significantly lowered the barrier to entry for startup formation, allowing founders from diverse geographies to tap into global talent pools without the overhead of physical offices. From an investment standpoint, this shift expands our opportunities, but also requires us to adapt our due diligence processes to better assess team dynamics and company culture in a virtual setting. We need to consider how these companies foster collaboration and innovation remotely, which are crucial for long-term success.
Riley, Phillip, you've both touched on crucial points. The democratization of talent due to remote work indeed opens up a broader spectrum of investment opportunities globally. However, assessing a startup's operational effectiveness when teams are distributed requires us to innovate our evaluation methods, perhaps by leveraging data analytics to gauge team engagement and productivity. This adaptation will be key in identifying startups that are not only embracing remote work, but are also thriving in this new environment. Philip and Alex, you've both highlighted transformative aspects of remote work in the startup ecosystem. As we adapt to these changes, our focus should not just be on operational metrics, but also on discerning the robustness of a startup's communication and cultural integration strategies. These elements will become increasingly critical as we evaluate potential investments in this evolving landscape. Let's discuss an interesting business topic: how Web3 and blockchain are changing venture capital. What are your thoughts on this?
Riley, you're spot on about the transformative potential of Web3 and blockchain in our field. Particularly, these technologies are reshaping how we think about liquidity and transparency in investments. The ability for VCs to trade equity tokens on decentralized platforms could significantly speed up the liquidity timeline, although it does raise questions about regulatory compliance and market stability. It's an exciting frontier, but comes with considerable risks that need to be carefully managed.
Absolutely, Morgan. The points on liquidity and transparency are pivotal. Additionally, Web3 and blockchain introduce new models for decentralized governance that could change how we structure and manage VC funds themselves. By potentially allowing a more democratic process in investment decisions, we might see a shift towards more diverse and innovative portfolios. However, integrating these technologies must be approached with a clear strategy for navigating the evolving regulatory landscape and ensuring robust cybersecurity measures. While Web3 and blockchain indeed present intriguing opportunities for reshaping venture capital, especially in terms of liquidity and governance, we must tread cautiously. The excitement around these technologies shouldn't overshadow the need for rigorous due diligence and a keen understanding of the regulatory and security challenges they bring. Let's prioritize sustainable innovation over mere novelty as we explore these new frontiers.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: trends in startup acquisitions versus IPOs. What are your thoughts on this?
Philip, that's a crucial topic. Lately, we've seen a noticeable tilt towards acquisitions, especially in sectors overwhelmed by larger players looking to absorb innovative startups rather than compete with them. While IPOs offer public validation and potentially massive returns, the shorter path to liquidity and less regulatory hassle make acquisitions increasingly attractive for startups navigating uncertain markets.
Riley, you've touched on key aspects that drive the acquisition trend. It's also worth noting that the macroeconomic environment plays a significant role. In periods of market volatility and tighter capital conditions, startups may find the IPO route riskier and more challenging, thus turning to acquisitions as a safer, quicker exit strategy. However, it's crucial for startups to weigh these options carefully, as premature acquisitions might undervalue their potential compared to a well-timed IPO.
Riley and Morgan, you've both highlighted important dynamics in the current landscape. It's crucial for startups to strategically assess not just the immediate financial implications, but also the long-term impact on their technology and team when choosing between an acquisition and an IPO. Each route offers distinct advantages and challenges, and the decision should align with the startup's overall vision and market conditions.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: when founders should bootstrap versus seeking venture funding. What are your thoughts on this?
Riley, that's a great topic. In my view, bootstrapping is ideal for founders who can sustain growth through internal cash flow and want to maintain control without external pressures. However, venture funding becomes crucial when scaling fast is necessary to capture market share, or when significant upfront capital is needed for development and market entry, especially in tech-driven sectors.
Absolutely, Philip. The decision essentially boils down to the pace and scale of growth a founder envisions. Bootstrapping suits controlled organic growth, while venture funding is key when speed and scale are critical to seize opportunities and outpace competitors.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the importance of founder market fit in early investments. What are your thoughts on this?
Morgan, I firmly believe that founder market fit is crucial, perhaps even more so than product market fit in the early stages. Founders who deeply understand their market can navigate early challenges with greater agility and are often more adept at pivoting as needed. They bring an intrinsic value to the startup, which is vital when the path forward isn't clear and the product is still evolving. Riley, I completely agree with your point on the significance of founder market fit. In my experience, a founder who has a profound connection and understanding of their market not only inspires confidence in investors, but also tends to attract top talent and create a strong company culture. This deep market insight often translates into creating products that resonate well with the target audience, which is essential for catalyzing network effects and scaling the business.
Riley and Alex, you've both captured the essence beautifully. Founder market fit is indeed a cornerstone of early stage investment decisions because it fundamentally shapes the resilience and strategic direction of the startup. A founder's intimate knowledge and passion for their market can significantly mitigate risks associated with pivots and market entry. This is a key metric we should weigh heavily when assessing potential investments. Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the difference between strategic and financial investors. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Morgan. Strategic investors typically bring industry-specific insights and may prioritize long-term growth synergies with their existing businesses, which can be incredibly valuable for alignment and scaling. Financial investors, on the other hand, often focus more on financial returns and may bring rigorous capital efficiency and monetization strategies to the table. Both have distinct roles, but the ideal scenario for a startup might involve a mix of both to balance growth potential and financial sustainability.
Philip, you've highlighted key differences effectively. To add to that, strategic investors can sometimes influence a startup's direction more heavily, aligning it closely with their own business models, which might limit the startup's flexibility. Financial investors, while focused on returns, often provide the necessary capital discipline that helps startups stay lean and efficient. In my experience, startups should carefully evaluate their long term vision against the nature of the investment to ensure alignment doesn't morph into dependency.
Philip and Alex both make compelling points. The key takeaway is that startups need to critically assess whether they require the industry expertise and potential synergies offered by strategic investors or the financial rigor and independence that financial investors provide. Ideally, a balance of both could strategically position a startup for sustainable growth and profitability while maintaining the flexibility to pivot as needed.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: how Web3 and blockchain are changing venture capital. What are your thoughts on this?
Absolutely, Philip. Web3 and blockchain are indeed reshaping venture capital, primarily through the democratization of investment opportunities. By leveraging tokenization, smaller investors can now participate in funding rounds that were previously accessible only to large institutions or accredited investors. However, it's crucial we stay cautious about the regulatory environment, which is still evolving and can significantly impact the scalability and adoption of these technologies in traditional VC spaces.
Absolutely, Morgan. The potential for Web3 and blockchain to democratize access to capital is transformative, but navigating the regulatory landscape will be crucial for sustainable growth. It's an exciting time, and we must be both enthusiastic and vigilant as we explore these new frontiers in venture capital.
Let's discuss an interesting business topic: the future of AI startups and investment trends. What are your thoughts on this?
Morgan, while the excitement around AI startups is undeniable, I believe we need to tread carefully. There's a lot of hype fueling valuations without considering the practical scalability or integration hurdles these technologies might face. My interest leans towards startups that are applying AI in underexplored sectors where they can solve specific, tangible problems, rather than just adding AI for its own sake.
Riley, I completely agree with your perspective on focusing investments in AI, where it addresses specific, tangible problems. From my experience, the startups that stand out in the long run are those with a clear value proposition and a defensible competitive advantage, often through unique data sets or proprietary technologies. Additionally, considering the rapid evolution of AI, we should also look for teams with the agility to pivot and adapt their technologies as markets and regulations change.
Right. So that was the test of their first podcast. I feel like the sound cut out at the end there. Not sure why. That was probably the most difficult part of this process was trying to figure out the sound. So yeah, I'm gonna post that and hopefully work on this and get it to a point where it's like entertaining. Sorry for all the pauses in between. Um, all right.